I'm having a rough time. And I realized I don't have a key. So let me tell you what happened today. Can you hear those cicadas? They're so loud. It's crazy. Baby is sleeping. I love this age of babies because they're easy to take out. They just sleep most of the time. So I just had to come out and get some fresh air. It's not too bad pollution wise, but it is very hot and humid. But that's what summer in Beijing is like. I'm having a rough time. And it's not so much about the kids, which you would expect having a newborn, that's the rough part. But Amelie is actually really chilled and really cool baby. She just sleeps a lot. Even though she technically just entered her first sleep, she's pretty chilled. She sleeps a lot. She doesn't cry much. She does want to be held a lot. But other than that, she's fine. Cries a lot less than Nora did. Then again, I was a new mom who didn't know what to do. That might have led to a lot more crying because now I'm just, you know, more relaxed and I know what I'm doing. I'm having a rough time. There's a bunch of things happening right now that are very difficult for me to deal with. I just need a bit of fresh air, a bit of a break, collect my thoughts. So I'm not sure where I'm going, but I think I'm just gonna go obviously somewhere indoors with AC on. But I needed to leave the house and kind of collect my thoughts, and I'll update you a bit later on. I like to gawk at foreign babies and like get really up close and personal, especially when they're small, especially when they're mixed kids. So I like to cover them up when public spaces. It's a little bit less annoying. Alright, I've come to a mall because I'm super hungry and I can't think if I'm hungry, so I'm going to get some food and I think I'll have sushi. Uh-oh, baby's waking up. I hope she can fall back to sleep. Masks are back on since we have another outbreak. We are very colorful today. Me with my flower dress and this little thing. I love it. You get hot water directly from here. And then there's some matcha. So here's the menu. You can actually order things when they're not on the belt. Each plate here is 6 kwai. And they have so much variety. And the quality is really good. The little octopuses, I love them. Would you eat this? No, okay. Actually, they don't have them anymore. So, no octopi. Octopuses for these? You need some. A store full of stuff that you don't need but kind of want to buy. These, I guess, washing beads, only because they smell so good. Totally artificial, but really, really nice. I think I want to get something sweet. When I come to this mall to have sushi, I also have to come here. This is some kind of second version of Miniso, but kind of better. They have clothes and they have just really cool stuff. It's pretty empty today. They pretend to be Swedish, but I don't believe it. I think it's Chinese and they just say it's Swedish style. Because they really heavily lean on the IKEA vibe, including having obscure names for their products. That's supposed to be somehow Swedish, but it's a cool shop. Oh, I love this. Look who's smiling. Or at least who was smiling for a second. I do not need this, but I love the color. And my sister is obsessed with any type of bottles. So she would definitely spend some time here and definitely take one of them home. Hello, you're awake? You're awake? I wonder if this is a sign. Indig, Weissboon, all these words, all these names. Glacier. You see what I mean? I mean, IKEA does this where they kind of highlight their own designers, but it just says Elosa. And here, I mean, look at this one, Paolo. Like the Chinese behind it literally just says Paolo, like the Chinese version of his name. They definitely have cool clothes though. Although I would argue that this is not necessarily Swedish or Northern European in general. I would say this is actually very Korean style fashion, which is what Chinese really like. They are really into Korean fashion. Some of these things could legit be out of my closet of the 1990s. Seriously. This is cute though. Okay, seriously though. This is so 1990s, early 2000s. I mean, look at these. I had those. Not this exact one, but these kind of like arm sweat collecting bags. Oh my god. Can't believe everything comes back, even the 90s. Find too many things. I have this tissue box that I think is cute and a kaleidoscope for Nora. On the other hand, I really just have everything, so it's not like I need anything. Would you have a nail salon literally just on the corner like this? Alright, let's head back home. This is a pretty popular Korean makeup brand and I really like their stuff. For some reason, gold in China really is like gold. So yellow. I just got out and it's really windy and I'm pretty sure that means there's a thunderstorm coming. I think that sky, that looks like rain. Yep. I wonder if I can get home in time before it starts to rain. That looks pretty and pretty dangerous. Someone say we need a flag. I think someone went on Taobao and ordered a flag and didn't realize it comes in a pack of 100. So they decided to say it, just put them all. Made it home. She is not impressed with how bumpy this road is. We made it back just before the rain is gonna start. At least I'm pretty sure it's gonna start soon. You know, you think you're having a shitty day, and a shitty week for that matter. And then I thought I finally had some luck escaping the rain. Yeah, now I am in front of my door and I realized I don't have a key and everybody went out. Yeah, great. And it's about 40 degrees, I would say, in this corridor. Anyways, I basically asked my friend who has a key of my house to get it ready, and I ordered a delivery service which is going to go to her house and pick it up and then come over here. And it's a 30 minutes guaranteed service, so within 30 minutes they're going to be at your house. So yeah, great. It's just great. I can see that he has arrived at her house and is picking it up, so it shouldn't be too long until it comes to my house. Home at last. Ice cold Diet Coke. That's what I need right now. I look disheveled, just like I feel. So let me tell you what happened today, or in general what happened these days, and why I had to go outside and get some fresh air. Basically, God, that needs so much explanation. China has suspended free travel, I would call it. Anyways, that's not a helpful introduction. You have a hard time coming to China right now. Basically, China closed its borders last March, first suspending basically all services of applying for visas, and then also revoking anyone's residence permit that was issued when people left the country. So anyone had a residence permit but left the country, basically it was all void. So you couldn't come back to China. So for the last basically 1.5 years almost, a lot of people have been scrambling and struggling to return to China, because a lot of us have our life here, you know, a lot of us have built our existence here and have jobs here and everything. So I never left, which means I've been basically stuck in a golden cage, not being able to leave for pretty much the most of the last year, basically. So now, since the vaccinations are available, it is becoming possible to travel again. And I'm saying travel like this because actually it just means it gets easier to come back, in the sense of if you have a valid work permit or has been renewed since last March, you can re-enter on that exact same residence permit, as it's called. A lot of my friends have been taking advantage of this, and they all got the jab, the Chinese vaccine, and have traveled to Germany. Since I just gave birth a month ago, I now have maternity leave, which means it's the first time and the only time that I will actually have a chance to go back home for several weeks and be able to do the quarantine without risking my job or losing my job, basically. Even though it's risky to leave, having the vaccine, having a valid residence permit that was just renewed this February, I felt it was a risk I was willing to take to go and see my family. Well, my kids, however, are half Chinese. They cannot get a visa because China doesn't recognize dual citizenship, but they still believe that once one parent is Chinese, they are entitled to Chinese citizenship. So in order to basically become one or the other, you have to renounce either citizenship. And that process takes 6 months, and in order to be able to travel during that time, you can get entry and exit permits, which means instead of having a visa that allows you to enter and exit on a foreign passport, our half Chinese kids basically get this permission, this permit, this extra little slip of paper that is valid for 3 months, which they can use to enter and exit the country once for each paper. Yesterday, I finally got my second daughter's passport. Why do I want to rush this? For one, it gets cold pretty soon in Germany again, and rainy, although I've been hearing stories that it's been raining the whole summer pretty much. But that doesn't really matter. But what it does matter is that with the cold, the virus always picks up. I mean, last year, the same, in autumn, the cases just went up like crazy. And with cases rising, it just basically also means that it could get more difficult to come back to China. I want to go while I have the chance now to go for a couple of weeks and not just for like 1 week and come back. It just doesn't make sense with 3 weeks of quarantine. I was finally holding the passport in my hand, and then a news circulates on WeChat that China suspends entry and exit permits. It means we're stuck here. It means my kids can't leave, and I can't leave without my kids, obviously. The whole point of going is so that my family can finally meet my second child and see my other daughter, which they haven't seen since she was 9 months old. And she's 2.5 now. As you might imagine, I was pretty upset, and I don't know what to do. I have all the documents together. So I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna ask if I can get a permit. Who knows? Maybe they didn't get the news. Maybe I'm lucky that way. But maybe they did. Probably they did. Most likely they know. They're the ones who gave the notice. So I don't know if there's a chance that I'll get the papers. It has kind of crushed all my hopes for the last weeks and months, and probably the whole year. The whole 1.5 years that I've been hoping and praying to go back home. I don't know what to do. if they refuse tomorrow to give me the papers, I don't know how long it's gonna take. So the reason they are suspending the issuing of entry and exit permits is because we have a new outbreak in China. And for those of you from Europe or the US, you would think some crazy things happening, but no, this is literally a couple of hundred cases in the entire country. It started with a small outbreak in Nanjing, where supposedly the crew that was cleaning the airplane of a Moscow flight got infected with the Delta variant virus. Apparently they can trace that. They can trace that back from the people that got infected later and can say that it was the same sequence in the virus, so that it has the same origin. It does travel so quickly, and because China is unprecedented, I think, in the world of contact tracing, because of their tight-knit system of tracing where people are going, especially with the QR codes that you need to scan everywhere. So they can really trace back where everybody got infected. And so it spread, and now there's, you know, cases popping up everywhere. There's 2 or 3 cases in Beijing. Typical China fashion, they obviously just, with their zero COVID strategy, decided to, you know, basically put everyone who had been anyhow connected and in close contact with anyone in quarantine. So I even know some people now in quarantine, and some of them are very close to my home, just down the street. It's good that China is handling it so well. I'd rather be in China, and I'm glad I was in China for the past 1.5 years compared to many other countries where, you know, especially before there was a vaccine, it was very dangerous to get it and to be infected. To this date, I don't know anyone personally that actually had COVID in China. Compared to the size of this country and how many people are here, it was done phenomenally well. I mean, drastic, yes, it was drastic. Putting thousands of people in quarantine, mandated quarantine, and not like quarantine that you guys are imagining back in US or Europe, where you stay at home most of the time, but you still can go out and you can still go to the shops and stuff like that. No. Quarantine here means your door is locked for 2 weeks. You can maybe order stuff that will be delivered to your door, but you're not leaving. Like, you have no human contact. That's quarantine in China. Is it serious? No. There are literally just a few hundred cases, which is laughable when you look at how many cases there are in Germany or in the US or in France or UK or whatever. I'm torn because it's good. It's good that they are being that strict, because our life goes back so quickly. People are put in quarantine, chain of transmission ends, and then that's it. We were without any cases in Beijing for more than half a year. There was zero cases in Beijing. We are living a normal life while the rest of the world is going from lockdown to opening to lockdown. Yes, it's good. It was good. It's good that they're handling it this way, but you can't help to be upset about, you know, your own life and how it affects you, and how this is potentially crushing all my dreams of going home this summer. It sucks big time. The thing that I'm basically worried about, that I see coming, is that I won't see my family until I decide to pack up my bags and go and leave this country. And this has been my home for 8.5 years. I have an existence here. This is my home. I have, you know, a huge friend circle. I have people that are basically like family to me. And I have Chinese family. I have a whole side of Chinese family that are here, that will stay here. I have to choose basically between the two sides. It's just not realistic to go back and forth. Packing everything up is not an easy decision. Changing my job, I don't know how it's gonna go. In the worst case scenario, that would mean I wouldn't see my family for almost 3 years, which would mean they wouldn't see my first daughter until she's almost 4. They wouldn't see Emily until she can already walk, possibly talk. And it's just really heartbreaking. I know I'm not the only one. I know my life isn't as hard as many other people's lives, but it still doesn't make things better. Those were the news yesterday. And then this morning, while I was already not in great spirits, But then I had a call with my parents and I told them how, you know, everything is kind of happening right now and what the chances are. And I told them not to get their hopes up because that's hard on them too. They've been waiting forever for the good news that we might come. And then obviously, coming home tonight, I locked myself out. Luck's not on my side right now. Everything was a bit put into perspective when I called my parents and we were talking about, you know, the prospects of us actually coming. And for, you know, me telling them not to get their hopes up, because the worst thing is hoping and then being disappointed. So it's better to just think the worst and maybe there will be some positive news, but who knows? Most likely not. Most likely we're stuck here. They told me about a family friend of ours who, you know, I kind of grew up with. She has cancer really, really bad. And it's all through her body. It came really quickly. And I know her since I'm a child, you know. She's 59. She was just ready to retire and enjoy her life, her retirement, her kids, her grandkids. And now she's dying. And it really puts everything in perspective. Because no matter what my problems are, my troubles are, and although it upsets me a lot, that's nothing compared to that. There are people really, really suffering real loss that you cannot bring back, especially in this time. I mean, when you look at the numbers, how many people have died, it really puts things in perspective. When you see how many people have died on the charts, they're just numbers, right? It's hard to come to terms with what that actually means. And although our friend is not dying from corona, it just makes the thing real. The suffering and the hardship that people all around the world are going through right now. So even though it sucks, I must be positive and look forward to everything getting better, because it only can get better. The most important thing is we're healthy. All of us. My family is. Everything else has to wait. Look at her chubby cheeks. 5 weeks old, already so chubby. She's nearly 5 kilos already. Nora wasn't that heavy. All she does is eat and sleep. So you're guaranteed to put on the weight. Lächelst du mich an? That's what it is. If you're having a hard time, no matter how hard it is, think about the positives in your life, the good things. Like this little face. We're gonna hope for the best. We're gonna hope that we can come back home and see our family whenever that is. I'll leave it at that. I know this was a bit depressing. Pretty long, probably. Let's see how much I can cut in the editing. I hope you're well, wherever you are. I hope you know that there's still a lot of good to come. And thank you for watching. Bye.